My name is Amy. I am a recent graduate, May 2020, of a dual degree program here at UT Austin. That would be the MPH and the MPAff. So that's Master of Public Affairs and Masters of Public Health. The public health part technically isn't part of UT Austin itself, but it's a kind of a new innovative program where we have collaborated with the UT Health Science Center, the UT Health Science, it's a really long name, UT Health Science Center School of Public Health, to offer that degree in conjunction with the regional campus here in Austin. And I am a consultant at Deloitte. So I joined Deloitte in July of last year, so that was 2020. And since then, I've been on about 2 to 3 projects. I can't quite remember, or if there's really not like a clear delineation when you work on state projects. Sometimes you just kind of roll to a different project. The most interesting project that I've worked on was definitely the project I came on when I first joined Deloitte. And so that was it's called Texas Health Trace, and we worked on it with our state agency here in Texas. And so this coronavirus tracing project we worked on for quite a while. I think it was going on for quite a while before I joined, right? And so I was a tester on that project. And so what that means, and it was a really good place to not only get a lot of experience very quickly, kind of this pandemic pace, I guess, if I think everyone will understand what the pandemic pace is at this point. But we were really trying to get this, tracker off the ground. And so it was a lot of really relevant health policy experience, which is, as I graduated with a master's in public health and a master's in public affairs, this is kind of exactly the junction where I wanted to be, working on technology, health policy, and just things that really had a direct tie to the people in a state or in a government, right? So yeah, I had a really great time making connections on that project. I really went in thinking, what do I want to do? I didn't think like, yes, Deloitte is going to be like, I'm sold already, like, getting the internship. I really went in with the mindset, okay, I'm going to find out what consulting is about. I'm going to find out what the Deloitte lifestyle is, right, that has to offer. And I found it really, really interesting. There's a lot of flexibility here at Deloitte in terms of projects they offer. I know I have friends federally. I have friends at the state level. We're trying to get into local. We're doing a lot of local bids as well. And just anything that you're interested in, there is a project to do. I think I have a friend doing like misinformation campaigns right now. And so it's kind of like the opportunities are there. It's not immediate, right? It's not like so cut and dry as to, I want to work on that project, that's where I want to be, put me there. But the fact that you have the opportunity at all without having to jump jobs, without having to like move heaven and earth trying to get somewhere is really alluring, I think, in terms of a career prospects. So I was thinking that this is really where I want to make a career, I think, because there's so much opportunity that you can move within the company to get different experiences. And you can build your own skill set, which I think has been really, really great this past year, especially virtually. So I think that if you're interested in consulting, especially if you're interested in Deloitte, one, network. That sounds, again, really vague, right? But communication is really important. And a lot of consulting is client-facing roles, like client-facing responsibilities. And so when we present to clients or when we have these relationships with our clients, that's really integral to our work, right? And also kind of building that rapport with the government, right? That we want to do. We want to continue having that strong relationship and doing more projects for them, and improving their I guess, user experience. And so definitely show up to recruiting events if you're at all interested. If there aren't any that you know of that aren't, have either already happened or they aren't happening because of the virtual environment, reach out. You can definitely reach out to any person in Deloitte that you may have like a connection to. You can always check on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to talk to people who reach out to me on LinkedIn about Deloitte, and they will generally know of a recruiter or someone who knows of a recruiter, and those connections are really important. Two, you don't have to get into consulting right out of grad school. I know I did, and it's really, really rare. I actually went straight from undergrad to graduate school into consulting. But I had so many friends at school that had these really illustrious backgrounds in federal government or nonprofit work, criminal justice, things like that, and that's really valuable to Deloitte as well, and to any consulting company, especially if you're trying to work in government. And I guess we also want to see, I guess, as consultants, that you've had experience in communications, but also in strategic work, and also depending on what type of consulting you want to do. I know that we had a panel last month where we had people who had biomedical engineering degrees, but they decided to consult in diversity, right? So there's definitely different types of consulting everywhere. And so whatever you are interested in, if you would say, for example, that's what I'm in management and technical consulting, go out and look for experiences that kind of fit that persona that you are trying to present, right? I worked at I didn't mean to do this, but I worked at the state agency. I worked at a state agency before in my first year of grad school, which was overseeing a software transition in HR. I interned at the legislature during session, so that kind of led to state government experience, right? And I think all of that together, plus communication skills that I learned in grad school, also writing skills that I learned in grad school, kind of set this persona to say, hey, I'm really interested in working with state agencies. I have a pretty strong knowledge of the legislature, which really highly affects consulting work here in the state. But I'm also interested in, software transitions and doing that kind of technological work. So kind of making sure that your experiences say something about what you want to do. And if they don't, at least try to tailor them to what you want them to say on your resume. So I think that's my advice, definitely. And as again, just reach out. Network and connections are really strong in this environment, and I wouldn't be afraid. I myself am super introverted. I would be really I guess averse to trying to reach out to people that I don't know, but since I've been in this job, I've definitely learned to embrace that, and I think that part of that is that I, as a consultant, would also be happy to accept any kind of those kinds of requests. So you just kind of have to be in the mindset that they are most likely in the same boat, right? Or have been in the same boat. So definitely reach out, and don't be disappointed or discouraged if you don't get exactly what you're thinking about getting right off the bat. Because if you build your experience and you're still really wanting to come into consulting, you can always come back. There's always places for you.